In the last class, I started on the subject of key production personnel, but I did not finish it. So before we move on to all about scripts, I said to finish this section. The key production personnel, big seven: the producer, director, scriptwriter, cinematographer, video editor, production designer, and the sound recordist or designer. I talked about who the producer is and what the producer does. Find an idea for a story that can be made. Find money to make the idea into a film. Supervise the production process, both the scheduling and the budgeting, and then take the finished film and make a profit off of it. The director is the creative head of making a film. The director's job is to direct the cast, the crew, the story, and everything that takes to make the film. I talked about the 8 things a director must know how to do, and this is where I stopped in the last lesson. I extensively dealt with each of these items, explaining them in details. Other noteworthy personnel in the film include the scriptwriter who writes the scripts, the cinematographer who is the head of the camera and the lighting department. They are responsible for the shooting of the film, and they work under the instruction of the director. They bring the words of the script from paper to the screen. Then you have the video editor, who is the third person in the quote and unquote trinity or trilogy of story making, meaning the writer, the film director, and the video editor. This is the person who performs the movie magic. Now, one secret about what video editors do is this. Editing essentially is they've shot the clips, you're arranging the clips to tell the story, and that is where the power is. The order in which a video editor arranges the videos, the clips, determines what story that is told. By merely changing the order, meaning putting this in front of this other clip or moving this behind this other clip, can change the meaning of the story altogether. Can turn a action film into a comedy or a comedy into a horror film. Yeah, something like that. So that is the power of editing. This is where the story gets retold to fit what the video editor, under the direction of the director, is trying to say with the film. Okay, you also have the production designer who sets the stage, designs the set, the sound guys. Now, this is the funny thing. Sound is 80% of your film. The degree to which you master and you lock down sound is the degree to which your film will be success. Have you ever tried watching an action film without sound? Mute it and watch an action film or a horror film. You realize that you won't get scared if you watch a horror film muted. There wouldn't be that extra giggles if you're watching a action film without the. You see the motion, you see the action, but you can't hear the sound. It's not the same. There is something that will be missing. So sound is just as important, and you should also have that at the back of your mind as a writer when you're writing scripts. So that brings us to the end of the key personnel in working in the film, and we'll go on to the next section in this, which is Shift tab. Yeah. Just a second. Okay, let's go. Hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, there we are. All right. So what is script writing? We've defined script writing several times as the art and craft of writing scripts for mass media. Now, here's the drift. While script writing can speak to different things, by this I mean there are different things we write scripts for. For a YouTube video, you write scripts. For a game, you write scripts. In fact, for the speech of the president, scripts are written. Yeah. So scripts cover there's a lot of different kinds of script writing. The kind of script writing we do is differentiated by what it is called. It is called a screenplay. What you're writing is a screenplay. So what is the difference between a script and a screenplay? Simple. A script can be any form of script. A screenplay is a specific script written for the screen. Don't know if we get that difference. So as it concerns what we do, when we say a film script and a film screenplay, we're speaking to the same thing. However, as it concerns the general body of script writing, I mean the different kinds of scripts that you can write, not forgetting that the script, the speech the president reads is also a form of script that is written, which is very different from the script you write for a film. Yeah. So the script you write for a film is called a screenplay. Other scripts have their own designations. For example, a script written for a stage play is a play, okay, different from screenplay for screens. Okay, the same way the writer for a play is called a playwright, and the writer for a screenplay is called a scriptwriter. I hope I'm not confusing you. But then the summary is that what we write is essentially screenplays. Okay, so you're called essentially a screenplay writer or a screenwriter or a script writer for short. They all mean the same thing as it relates to writing scripts for films. I hope that is clear. All right, and then it could be a film, it could be a TV show, it could be any of those. So who is the script writer? Scriptwriter is also known as a screenwriter or a screenplay writer. Is responsible for doing what? For creating the screenplay for a film. Their tasks include story development, developing the story, that is. One of the key things the scriptwriter does is to generate the ideas for a compelling and engaging story. Now, this is above and beyond just the story. In a subsequent lecture, we'll talk about the difference between a story and a plot. Yeah, but what we're referring to here is both the story and the plot. The story is what happens. The plot is in what sequence does it happen. I don't know if you get that. Let me say it again. A story is what happens. For example, the king died and then the queen died. That is what happens. The plot is the sequence in which those events occur. So in this story, we could say the king died and then the queen died out of grief. Now there's a plot. There is an order to the sequence of events. Okay, but we will discuss that at a later time. So story development is one of the key things you do as a script writer. Either you're generating the story idea for yourself, by yourself, from scratch. Either a producer or some other person gives you the story to develop, or then you take an idea and then you develop it to create a compelling and engaging story. You also create characters and you give these characters depth and complexity. Again, we will talk about everything about characters in a subsequent lesson. Okay, so you develop the overall structure and the plot of the screenplay. Next thing you do as a writer is to write dialogue. Crafting dialogue that not only advances the plot but also reveals the characters' personalities and motivation. One chief challenge new writers have, is they write dialogue as if they're writing a stage play. In a stage play, everything has to be said. In a film, your goal is to say as little as possible and show the rest. Let me say that again. In a film, Your goal is to get your characters to say as little as possible and then show the rest. You don't want to say, you don't want to put your character, can't you see I'm angry? Nah, you put them in situations and scenarios that shows us that this person is not only angry, they've lost it. So you don't need to get your character to say it with their mouth or get another character to say it and give us exposition. It's called an exposition dump. You want to reduce exposition dump as much as possible and be as visual as you can, meaning you put your character. Let me say it so that you get it. When we say visual storytelling, when you say you want to be as visual as possible, this is what it means. You want to put your character, okay, so you want to show us this person is angry. Don't say it. Don't let your character say it. Rather, you put them in a situation where we as the audience can see that they are angry through their actions, through their expressions, through the things they say, through the ways they behave. So nobody has to tell us that this person is angry. Nobody has to say that this person is grieving. Nobody has to say this person is happy. Instead, you show us actions this person takes. When somebody is happy, what do you do? For example, Mr. Man just collected salary and you show him spending all the money before we come to the part where he regrets spending all his money. So instead of telling us that he regrets spending his money, show us how he lavishly spent the money and now he is in remorse, having realized that he has spent money foolishly. That is what we mean by show, not tell. I hope we get that. It is key. We show, we don't tell. You reduce the talk your characters do. You find a way to show your characters doing and reenacting the thing instead of getting them to say it. Okay? So, yeah, that's number one with dialogue. Say less, get your characters to do more. They say less, they do more. You put them in situations and scenarios where they act out how they feel instead of them saying with their mouth how they feel. Again, they act out. You put them in scenarios and situations that gets them to act out how they feel instead of getting them to say with their mouth what they feel. For example, it's a breakup scene, and she goes like, "Femi, I'm sorry, but I don't want to do this anymore. It's not you, it's me. Yeah, I think we've just drifted apart. I love you." And in the middle of that, Femi gets up and he throws the table like, what do you? Now we understand. Do you need to be told that Femi is angry? Femi has acted the way an angry person acts. We understand now Femi's state of mind without us being told, or without Femi using his mouth to say anything along the lines of anger or how he feels. So rule of thumb is, as much as possible, don't put don't get your characters to say how they feel. Don't get somebody else to say how they feel. Let them act out how they feel. I think I've flogged that enough. You should have gotten it by now. And I will stress it even more because that is the bread and butter of filmmaking. Showing how your characters feel, not saying how your characters feel. Most of us have watched a lot of rubbish Nollywood films where all they do is talk, 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 talk. And when push comes to shove, when you get to write, you will write what you're used to, which is talk, 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 talk. So me doing all the talking here is so that you don't get your characters to do as much talking. Instead, what do? You put them in situations that get them to act out how they feel instead of them saying what they feel. Do you get it? All right, let's move on. So what we're talking about again, let's run down, is we're talking about who is a scriptwriter and what a scriptwriter does. Number one is developing the story. Number two is writing dialogue. Dialogue should not exist just because your characters must talk. Oh, this is the point I just finished, but I'm not done. Let me come back. You hear things like, let me see, have you seen a film, a Nigerian film where, like, especially Yoruba films, like, Femi, have you seen your sister Deborah? Or you hear things like, when was the last time you spoke to your sister Deborah? Like, who speaks like that? Who talks like that? Your dad is asking you about your sister, and he will say, your sister Deborah. Like, really? Does it make any sense? Now, that is a outflow from stage, from plays, from drama, theater. Let me rewind so that you get this. When we do stage plays, when we do theater, when we do drama, there's a lot of people on stage, and you have to find ways for the audience to identify Femi and know Shade and know Shegun, so that the next time Shegun shows up on stage, we know this is Shegun. And there are several ways we go about doing that for stage. One of the ways is by costume. So you dress Shegun a certain way and in a particular way throughout the play. So every time we see this color and we see this dress, we know, oh, this is Shegun, right? Another way we do it is to get Shegun's name to be mentioned and repeated. So somebody's like, Shegun, my friend. Oh, now the audience knows that this person they are talking to is Shegun. And Shegun will be like, Ade, my friend, long time. Now the audience also knows that who Shegun is talking to is who is Ade. Makes sense for stage. Dumb, foolish, stupid when you do it in a film. Film and stage are not the same thing. Sadly, most of the practitioners of film today, or at least those who they met and those who taught them, came from a theater and stage background, and they taught them theater. So a lot of people who do film today, what they are doing essentially is theater in front of a camera. You don't want to be like that. It shows us as foolish and dumb human beings. Wait, how many Nigerian films do you know that has won some international award? How many? And it's not as if Africans don't win it. Kenyans win it on a regular. Tanzanians, people from Southeast Africa, West Africa, they get to win these foreign awards on a regular. Why then don't Nigerians win it? Because what we do is not film, is stage. I'm going outside of the curriculum, but let me continue. Now, Chimamanda Adichie has won several literary awards, right? Why do you think that is? I'll tell you. It is because although she's writing African stories, she's still following the format of how a book ought to be written. Let me say that again. Because one of the craziest things I've heard is they say, we are telling African stories. Who is best? Who best tells our story but ourselves? Yes, true. We are the people in the best position to tell our stories, 100%. However, when you're using the vehicle of novels to tell African stories, you should follow the format that novels are written. Chimamanda Adichie follows that format, is why she wins awards on a regular. However, you, the filmmaker, you think your head is more correct than others, and you say you are writing and telling African stories, and you deviate from how scripts and films are written, and you're claiming that you're writing African stories. No wonder Nigerian films don't get a lot of international recognition, like Nigerian music is getting, like Nigerian literary books, novels are getting. Almost every other form of entertainment and literary and whatever is getting international awards except for movies. Don't you think we're doing something wrong? Think about it. It is because we choose to tell African stories our own way. And filmmaking is not an African concept. You can't tell African stories an African way and expect them to take it. No, Good, you can tell African stories, but you're using the vehicle of film. Therefore, you must respect the laws and the rules of filmmaking. Until then, nobody will give you audience. Oh, one lie that we've been told is that have you noticed that um, there's a lot of exports of Nigerian films, meaning there's a lot of people outside of the country who watch Nigerian films? Yeah, it's true. The question is, who are those watching Nigerian films outside of Nigerians? You think it is whites? No, it is your fellow Nigerians and fellow Africans outside of Nigeria that are watching Nigerian films outside of Nigeria. Very few white people can sit down and watch a Nigerian film and watch it from beginning to the end. They will switch because what you do is rubbish filmmaking. Let me say it again. 98% of Nigerian films are rubbish of the rubbishest. English words fail me to describe how crazy our films are. A certain guy, I can't remember his name on Twitter, like a week or two ago, was referring to this film, Love in Every Word, Part 2. And he said, although it is doing great numbers, but it's a very low IQ film. People came for him, but he's telling the truth. That film is a very, very low IQ film. Wait, oh, wait. I understand that that is the kind of films that we would also write, most of us, at least for starters. Note, for starters. However, you should also learn how to write above and beyond that. Remember, you're still writing for the audience. If the audience are dumb, then you'd have to write dumb stuff for them until you have your own voice and your own platform, and then you can express yourself and write sensible stuff that the world will listen to. See, filmmakers are the one who are determining the IQ level of the audiences. If filmmakers make high IQ films, audiences will step up. But as long as we continue to make low IQ films, like most of the films you find on YouTube, Love in Every Word, Ruth Kadiri films, all of these films are low IQ films. As long as that is what filmmakers continue to churn out, audiences will continue to also reason on a very low IQ level. You are responsible for the IQ level of your audience. But I digress. Let's come back to the subject matter. What is the subject matter we're talking about? What you do as a scriptwriter. Number one is development of the story. Number two is writing dialogue. Number three is formatting the script. You need to learn proper script formatting, and I adhere to industry standard formatting. Number four is you should also understand that you'll have to do a bit of collaboration. So, for example, you're writing a TV series and you're part of the 5 or 6 writers who are writing the series. You can't afford to work as a lone ranger in this situation. Okay, you'd have to collaborate, okay, in a writing room. Excuse me. Also, stuff you write, if the director is a sound director, by the way, 80%, no, make that 90% of Nigerian directors are, I don't want to call them idiots, which is the very fitting word for most of them. Most of them do not understand their craft. Note, I said 80%. And the 20% might be listening to this and hear this and they might be like, what is this guy saying? No, no. I understand that there's a small subset of directors who understand their craft. But you see, directors are not really respected because most directors don't know their craft. But then, that's another story for another day. This is not a directing class. Although it is a directing class, because a script writing class is a directing class and a script writing class is a video editing class. But anyways, this is first and foremost a script writing class. So let's approach it as such. Yeah. On your journey as a scriptwriter, you'd have to collaborate with directors, producers, and other members of the production team to bring your vision to life. Meaning, number one, you write your script in such a way that you're giving clear, cut instructions on how they can achieve, realize, and properly shoot and make the film. Number two, there are times when the director reads the script and is not comfortable with what you have written, meaning a director who understands story. And he might write notes and say, all right, so Femi meets his mom, but the age difference between them is 12 years. Make it make sense. Meaning in your script, that means there is a um, time continuity is a challenge. That's what it's pointing out. Not about the actor who's going to play the role, but the fact that the event of his mom getting pregnant and him being born and things he does is just 12 years apart is almost impossible. Okay, so the director could give you notes on the story, showing plot holes and things that are not working in the story, and you might have to, take feedback, make adjustments, and send it back. I mean, the adjusted script. All right. You also have to work on revisions, which is very close to what I just said. You will engage in iterative process of script revisions based on feedback from collaborators. Collaborators including directors, producers, etc. And then lastly, research. A lot of times, the material you're given to work with, the story that the producer needs you to work on, are things that are alien or abstract to you. So you might need to research and so that you are in that world, you understand the subject matter. You don't always know what you're supposed to write about. E.g., you're writing a war film. Have you been in a war before? Have you been in the military before? Have you been a bandit before? Do you know how bandits think? Do you know how military men think? Yes, you're writing a film of bandits versus military men. How do you want to go about it if you don't do due diligence and thorough research? And that's where it starts from. Sit down, you do proper research. You identify and understand how a military man thinks, how they approach their work, how bandits think, why they do what they do. So that by the time you write the story, it makes sense. So research is a key thing that scriptwriters would have to do before they put pen to paper to start writing. All right, let's move to what is a script or a screenplay. We've defined this like a gazillion times already. Okay, a script, also known as a screenplay, is a blueprint for visual storytelling that includes dialogue, characters, settings, actions, and direction. It's a written document that outlines the narrative as a story, shows us the characters, includes dialogue, and other essential elements of a film or television show. Its primary purpose is to provide a roadmap for filmmakers. Remember, instructions is one of the key things you do in a script. And what is the goal of the roadmap? To guide filmmakers, the director, the cinematographer, and all the other members of crew, to guide them through the process of turning the written words on a paper into a visual and audio or auditory experience. Okay, so we're talking about the story, the format, which is the script formatting. Every script has a specific, should be formatted a specific way. And then you're given a set of instructions for the filmmakers to follow. Now, here are habits a scriptwriter should cultivate. Now, we're getting into serious talks now. If you want to excel as a scriptwriter, here are things you will need to do. Number one, read. Read a lot and read widely. Read widely to broaden your mind and widen your horizon. Writers do what? Writers read. And writers read a lot. You can't be a writer if you're not a reader. See, I understand that there are some people that you sit down and stories just come to you. Like you just have stories fighting in your head. Yeah, I know that there are people like that who exist. So it's one thing to like a girl. Follow this, follow me, follow me. It's one thing to like a girl. It's another thing to know how to express your feelings and get her to feel the same way that you do. I don't know if you understand what I just said. Either you're a man or you're a woman. As a lady, have you seen someone walk up to you and try to, we call it toast in our days, and try to toast you, but it is not giving? Exactly. That's like somebody who has story ideas but does not know how to express it. Why? Because they are shallow in their mind. I'm not talking of your toaster now. I'm talking of a writer. If a writer is shallow in his mind, his execution of the story will be shallow. Yes, you have story ideas that come to you. But if your mind is not deep and rich, you would execute that story shallowly. I don't know if that's an English word. To be able to execute the story to make it rich and deep and interesting and engaging, you have to be a deep, interesting, and engaging person. How do you get there? By reading deep, interesting, and engaging stuff. Word. Let me say that again. You, as a writer, you have to read far and wide to be a deep, engaging, and interesting individual, so that the material you write will be deep, interesting, and engaging. Okay? So even if story ideas come to you, you as a person are deep enough to be able to polish it and present it. Otherwise, yes, you have beautiful ideas in your head, but execution will be poor. So that's number one. The first habit a scriptwriter should cultivate is to read widely. Second is to write a lot. Writers write. Just as writers read a lot, writers write a lot. Write a lot. Like I mean a lot. Write a lot of anything. Write stories, write poems, write nonsense. Yeah? I can bet you the first set of material you would write will be crap, nonsense, like garbage. But here is the drift. The more you write, the better your writing gets. So you can't take a script writing class and expect that the first stuff you write right out of the gate will make sense. It no go make sense. But you can write yourself out of nonsense. When you start, you're still in the nonsense zone. Stuff you write will just either be terrible or be meh, But the more you write yourself outside of the garbage zone and into the great zone. The less you write, so say like I met someone a couple of years ago, because Lagos Film School actually started as Purpose Academy of Film and Photography in Osun State, Osogbo specifically, in 2014. And we were training specifically coppers in those days. And one of the coppers who attended the school took the script writing class. Can't remember her name now. She wrote a script and she was hoarding the script. She didn't want anybody to steal the story idea. When I finally got to read excerpts from the story, it was crap. But to her, she had written what was this thing called? A blockbuster. And she didn't want people to steal it. I'm like, this one, who wants to steal this? This is nonsense. So don't bank on, if you've written stuff before now, I can guarantee you what you wrote is nonsense. That by the time you're done with this course, if you revisit the material you've written before now, you will see so many areas worthy of improvement in those material you've written. Am I speaking to somebody? Okay? And the more you write, the better you will get. So just write a lot of stuff. You will get better as you write, especially in this program where you write, you submit, I give you notes on what is working and what is not working. You make corrections, amendments, send it back, and we do that back and forth until I think your material has gotten to the place where it's making sense. Such that by the time you do 2, 3, 4, 5 of such, we get to a point where your writing evens out. You migrate from the garbage zone to the zone where you're writing sensible stuff. Am I speaking to somebody? Well, at least that is the goal. I hope we get there. So yeah, number one, read a lot. Number one, write a lot. Number three, watch a lot of movies. You'll be writing for movies. If you don't watch movies, how can you know how to write movies? Again, I met someone who wants to be a scriptwriter but doesn't watch movies. I beg, wait till you want to write. You don't know how movies work, but you want to write for movies. And so it be. So number three, watch movies. Watch a lot of movies. You can't give what you don't have. If you don't watch movies, I mean the type of movies you want to write, how are you going to know how to write it? This is where we are. So actively watch a variety of films and television shows to understand the different storytelling techniques and approaches, and also watch films specific to the kind of script you want to write. Number four, read a lot of scripts. Just like number one says, read a lot. This number four says, read a lot of scripts. The initial read a lot is to broaden your mind. This number four, read a lot of scripts, is for you to understand how scripts are written. This is the goal. You should watch a lot of movies, and then number two, get the scripts of the movies you have watched and look at the script and look at the finished film. You would get a measure of epiphany from, oh, I get it now. When you see the words on paper and you see how they translate to the screen, it gives you a depth of knowledge and understanding that English cannot, like just ordinary mere speaking cannot give to you. Sadly, most Nigerian films don't release their scripts. So you'd have to work with foreign films, watch a lot of foreign films, and read the scripts for those films. Scripts are plenty. I would drop a lot of scripts in the group for us to go through and the links to the films made from those scripts. Which brings me to what we call reverse engineering, a key and major thing we do here at Lagos Film School. Okay, so if I was to summarize what we do for our scriptwriters in Lagos Film School, it will go like this. Number one, world-class learning, like we're doing right now. Number two, reverse engineering scripts, which means you watch a film and then you write the script of the film. You don't get the script, but you infer the script from the film. So you write the text, like if you were the writer who was writing this film you just saw, how would you have written this scene that you just watched? By reverse engineering pictures to text and understanding how the relationship between text and the images on the screen, yeah, when it gets to your turn to write your own script, it's easy to write text that can easily be translated to pictures on the screen. Did I speak English? I hope you just got that. That is the main strength of Lagos Film School. I mean our script writing program, the reverse engineering part of what we do. That is what cements the craft of script writing in your head. And then the third stage is you write a lot. And I will personally read every material you've written, and I will give you notes as to what is working and what is not working. And you would do rewrites based on what notes I give you, and you would resubmit until I think your script has gotten to that point where it makes sense. So by the time you add all of those three together, you become automatically a world-class scriptwriter. You get world-class learning, I mean teaching. You learn how to reverse engineer scripts so that you understand how scripts work. And then number three, scripts you write is noted upon. You get feedback that you make corrections on, you resubmit until it makes sense. By the time we're done, forget it. All right, so read a lot of scripts. Number five, write a lot of scripts. Write a lot, specifically write a lot of scripts. And then this is the important part. You should have a consistent writing schedule. Remember, what we're talking about is habits a scriptwriter should cultivate. And the last on the list is what? You should have a consistent writing schedule. So you see, the brain is just like every other muscle in the body. Let me say that again. The brain is a muscle, and it is just like every other muscle in your body. The same way you can gym and you can have biceps, yeah, and six pack. The same way you can gym your brain. How? By writing consistently. So a writer who wants to develop their craft should write even when they don't feel like writing. You shouldn't write just when you feel like. You should write all the time. In fact, you should have a writing schedule, meaning a specific time of the day at a specific place of in your house or your office or wherever it is you write, where you write. Example is maybe you work and but between 3 and 4 is free for you, so you write between 3 and 4 every day. Or maybe you leave the house at about, you wake up, so let's say like 4:30, and you write between 4:45 and 5:15. So every day when you wake up at 4:30 ish, you do a basic set of chores, maybe your quiet time, your this and this and this, and then 4:45 you get up, you literally leave your bed and go to this corner, this table, and this chair. You sit down, you take a blank piece of paper and you write. And you write for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. The time does not matter. But you choose a specific time and a specific place that you go to every day and you sit down and you write. Let's say you start with 10 minutes. So between 4:45 and 4:55 every day, you sit down at this table and you write. Ask me, what should you write? Write anything. In fact, if nothing comes, write your name and continue writing your name and continue writing your name and say Damola is a script writer. Damola is the best writer in the world. And write today, by tomorrow, you write more than your name. If you do it consistently, same time every day, same place every day, your brain understands that it must produce. Your brain understands what? That it must produce. By the third day, something will come, something will flow. You will write more than Damola must write a script. Damola is a script writer. You write more than that. It's like, what if Damola went to the market and did not return? What if the reason Damola did not return was because he saw a fine girl? What if the fine girl turns out to be a Mami Water? What if instead of Damola coming back home, he went with the Mami Water and got taken away in the river? That's why Damola did not come home. What? Wait, wait, wait. I will not follow Mami Water. I will not follow Mami Water anywhere. Oh. But are you getting the drift? Like your brain will start cooperating with you. That is you dreaming your brain. You can't be a casual writer and expect to be a world class writer. Not going to happen. Whatever your craft is today, let's say you're an accountant. You spent 4 years in the university spent studying accounting. 4 good years. You can't flippantly, casually write and expect to be a world class writer. The accounting wey you take 4 years study, you will still do ICANN, and still after the 6, 7, 8 years put together, it doesn't mean you're a world class accountant yet. You're just almost a roadside accountant. How much more script writing? Am I speaking to somebody? Okay, so you've got to, what's the word? Apply yourself. Okay, so come up with a consistent writing schedule, stick to the writing schedule. Oh, and one more thing, part of the curriculum of the course is to teach you how to come up with story ideas even when inspiration is not flowing. So you sit down at that desk, nothing is flowing, I can give you the cure for that. I'll give you a formula, you sit down and story ideas will come by fire, by force. We'll get to that bit. Okay? Now, this is an exercise. We're supposed to have started doing exercises in our course, but this is the first one I'm giving us, and there'll be a lot in this class. So this exercise says choose a specific time to write. So based on this consistent writing schedule, I want you to choose a specific time when you would write every day and indicate the specific place where you write every day. Send it to me as a DM or post it in our WhatsApp group, but everybody must attend to this. Choose a specific time to write. Okay? Number 7, observe and listen. See, most stories come from real life events. There's a danger in coming up with abstract, crazy, never before seen stories. Nobody wants to watch a film that has never been seen before. Nobody wants to watch a story that nobody has ever heard before. We want the same thing, only different. We want relatable stories, situations and scenarios that I can imagine myself in that scenario. That's what makes the film interesting to me. Not something so outlandish that I can't picture it. Nobody wants that kind of story. Okay, so for you to be able to come up with story ideas that is relatable, you need to be grounded in the real world. How? Observe, listen, listen to people, see how they do their do. Do you understand? Observe and listen. Pay attention to real life conversations, observe people, and listen to how they communicate. This helps in creating authentic and believable dialogue, and not just dialogue, situations, scenarios, obstacles, conflicts, and all the other things you will need for your story. Okay. Number 8, stay open to feedback. Be receptive to feedback and willing to revise your work. Constructive criticism is a valuable tool for improvement. So I've come across a lot of writers who are so attached to the material they write, such that when they get feedback and criticism on what they've written, it's almost as if you are attacking their person. Don't be that person. Separate what you write from yourself. When you get criticized for what you write, it is not a criticism on you, of your talent, of your craft. It is of the material that you have written. That material can get better. Do you understand what I'm saying? So separate yourself from your work such that when you get criticism for your work, you can embrace it and you can take the feedback and apply it and get your stories to be better. Number 9, study the craft. Continuously educate yourself on the principles of script writing. There are many books, courses, and workshops available to enhance your understanding of the craft. One of them is this that you're doing. Okay, this is a key pivotal move that you're making for your craft. By the time you're done, you'll be a world-class writer, but learning never ceases. You should continue to learn. Number 10, networking. Connect with other writers, connect with other filmmakers, and connect with industry professionals. Networking can open doors to opportunities and provide valuable support, which you will definitely need on this journey. And then lastly, number 11, patience and perseverance. Writing a screenplay is a challenging process that requires patience. Be persistent in honing your skills and pushing through obstacles. Some folks can finish a feature-length film in 2 weeks, some 2 months, and some 2 years. They're still on the same project. Understand that you just need to be patient with yourself to turn out well. Okay, let's go to the type of scripts that are possible. This class is getting quite long, I understand. But you know what? Let me continue this in another video. Okay? So in the next video, we'll pick up from here the different types of scripts.